Hey everybody, Scout Crafty here again. It's Monday, a great Monday, a mishmash Monday. It's the Monday after the Jacktown show that I went to yesterday. I'm still recovering. And what a fantastic, actually it was on Saturday that I went. What a fantastic show. Such a great time. So many good people showed up. It wasn't a meetup, yet a lot of people showed up because, once you go to that show, it's addicting. And, you keep going back and it gets better all the time, because you start to know what to look for and the little tricks of the trade. And, I shot a few minutes of it. I'll show you. But I just want to tell you the importance of when you go to these type of shows. If you get there early, there's a lot of things that you'll come across that are gone in the first hour or two that if you get there later on, you won't see it. So that's why I kind of stress going early if you're looking to pick up special deals. My buddies, Mike, small engine mechanic, and 805 Road King, they go the night before. They're there on Friday because they set up. They have a little display booth there. And so when they get there early, they even see deals that the rest of us don't see because they're gone Friday night. But some people don't set up till Saturday. So we all had a great time. And everybody was just in such good spirits. I'm telling you, one of the best times. I can't tell you, I don't go on vacations and things like that because, when you have a home and animals and everything, you got to take care of. But I just love going on these little day trips, and it's so much fun. If you ever get a chance to go, I think you'd really enjoy it. And they're all over the country. You just got to search them out. Let's check out a few minutes of what was there and who was there. And you can see some of the sights and sounds. Okay, we're here early in the morning, a few minutes before sunrise. And you could see it's a few degrees above freezing, but it'll warm up real quick. You can see some frost on the grass. You could see the sunrise just over my shoulder starting to come up. Another 20 minutes, it'll be up. So let's go in here. It's first light, and this is where the diehards are here early. Let's get in. Now, this is a perfect example of why you would get here early. You see this beautiful Craftsman thickness planer. Now, $40. This is the buy of the day. And I know the seller, and I'm sure it works fine. Look at the condition it's in. It's got all the pieces to it. And you can see what they run on eBay. So this would have been a really good purchase for those who get there early. Morning. What do you got? Toothpicks? More toothpicks? More chainsaws? I don't have any. Now you can see again, it's very early. A lot of people didn't set up their tables yet, but one by one they start setting it up, and you're there first if you get there, and that's why I'm here now. But wait till later and see how crowded this place gets. This is the $1 tub at this guy's table. He always has good stuff in here. 357 Magdad. He makes a killing on these tubs. Look at this, $1 auto wrench. Nope, I didn't buy it. I'm good. Now, one of my favorite booths is the Amish booth. And somebody was saying that the Amish make the best corn brooms. And they do make a nice broom. That was really nice. But I was looking around there. Their favorite part is, of course, their cakes and their pastries. It's all natural. It's all like homemade. Everything is just fantastic. And, the whoopie pies are always a big hit there. But what was really amazing, I turned around, and who do I see but Nathan and Kimmy. Now, you might remember them from last year. They drove all the way up from New Mexico, 28 hours. I'm complaining about 90 minutes. Yeah, that's a long trip, but it was great because they brought their kids. They brought Matilda and Dalton, and they had some whoopie pies. Everybody was happy. It was great to see them again. I didn't check that out. You should have checked it out. Yeah, just...
Because you think I could fix that? I don't know. There's not much left.
Looked down and he smelled it. And he said to me, "What did you put 311 on?"
This one?
What are this?
You know you got it.
The tool shed, some hydrants and pictures and everything. A couple of planes that he made, and there's some pictures of him interacting with people.
My good friend Noah and his father, he drives up from Maryland. They've been coming for a couple of years, and they always enjoy the shows. Probably the best buy of the day went to this post drill for $30, and one of my former scouts picked it up, and that was a fantastic deal. I haven't seen him in 15 years. He stopped by with his son. It was great to see him. Okay, so like I said, it was a beautiful, wasn't it? And the weather was just absolutely perfect. It was just a fantastic day. Now, I told you I stopped buying tools, and I did. I'm trying to hold, steadfast. I stopped buying tools. What I decided to do was to trade for tools. So I'm trading now for tools. Instead of buying tools, I trade, and this way you could barter and swap and things like that. So far, though, my biggest problem is the only thing I've been able to trade for tools is U.S. currency. So, I guess I'm really not out of that buying the tools, but I'm good. I was really good today up to the, then I ran into Patrick, and Patrick is an enabler. He's around, even last time when 357 Magdad and I and Patrick were walking around, you just start buying stuff. I don't know what it is about him. He's like, he points things out and he tells, and you just buy it. It was nice to meet 357 Magdad's wife. He brought, and that was great. So that was a highlight of the show. But let me show you some of the stuff that I bartered. I swapped my U.S. currency for. And it's, I think I got some pretty good stuff. Let's check it out. I picked up this, the first thing I bought was this $1, came from the $1 table. This wrench. And I know you guys like to see stuff that is really beat up come back to a really nice, respectable wrench. And I think we could do it with this. So that's why I bought this. It's a good project for the channel. Bought that first. Then I came across this outstanding Hargrave body clamp, and this is one of the rarest clamps you'll come across, because the 6-inch body clamps, and when I say body clamp, it's a C-clamp with these holes drilled in, and this one's an old one because you see it has the thumb This over here, this little wing nut kind of thumb adjuster. And this is a really nice one. It's bent. It needs a little dake work, but one of the rarest clamps I've ever come across, and that was $10, so I was glad to get that. Of course, I pick up a little things, you know, here and there. You know, what I do is when I come back from shopping during the week, I take my dollars. You know, if you always get singles and you change, and I take a couple dollars and I throw them like in this a little jar. And at the end of a couple months or whatever, I fold them up until you have a stack of singles, and that's what I use for my kind of mad money when I go to the shows. So it's almost like a change jar, you know, but these are all like, you know, $1 or $2 items, but some really nice, some items here. And we're going to go through this threading file because when I saw, you know, Stuart show it, a lot of people didn't know what it was, and I thought you might see it. I got a couple of these, and we'll get a cute little, look at this little cute thing, huh? And you know, I love crowbars, but I've never seen one. This is just a nice one. That was just gorgeous, but I'll show you some other stuff. Next up, another Patrick-inspired purchase. Do you know what this is here? It should be quite obvious. It is to open and close fire hydrants. So that's a fire hydrant wrench, and you can see here, this spins out. It's a little squeaky and needs cleaning, but this goes over that top nut and you can open. It's knurled in the back. That's a nice wrench for $5, isn't it? Next, I bought this here, and you can see what a beautiful dovetailed box and everything. I mean, just think about this when this came out. It's got the little hook lever here, but this here is a die set, you know, for threading pipe, and it's in mint condition. I know it looks a little bit worn for wear, but it's really kind of rust, and this should clean up nice. It's an Armstrong, and what really attracted me to this was, look at this. It's got the label here. Can you see that? The Armstrong. It says, please take notice, and it tells you, you know, use plenty of oil, and this was $5 for the set. And again, you know, the first thing you should do is go on, when you're there, go on your phone, go on eBay and see if these things are valuable or not. It didn't matter to me. I was buying it anyway, but, you know, I've already made that mistake of paying $20 for things that go for $15 on it, you know, but really interesting. This should clean up. Be a nice project, right? Next up, look at this. Look at this. Now, here's another thing that Patrick inspired. When I say Patrick, you know, he taunts you into buying. He's like, you don't got the stones to restore that. So, you know, you gotta wind up buying it just to, this is an amazing, I don't think I have a drill this for heavy as this for the size it is. It's absolutely the heaviest duty drill I've ever seen. This is all like, we got to throw this on a scale and see what it weighs, but it's absolutely heavy. But what sold me on this is, besides having a beautiful chuck that works nice, look where they put the chuck key, and look at how they designed this. To take the chuck key out, you push it in like this, you turn it, and it pops out. There's like a spring in there. And there's your, you know, your chuck key. How nice is that? So you don't have to worry about losing it. I mean, we always tie it and have it on the cord. Just beautiful. That's good designing right there. So if they took the time to design that, I said, this must be amazing. Now, I've seen other ones with this handle alone. These handles are quite desirable when you see drills with those type of those D handles or shoulder handles. And this has the threaded area on top here where you can put the pipe in. And I'll show you an advertisement where they show this doing some heavy duty drilling. Super high torque. Just beautiful. I don't know who the make is. There's no tag on it. Let me weigh it, see what it weighs. Okay, you can see it's almost 15.5 pounds. I mean, that's a heavy drill for a hand drill. So you can see I was really good. I didn't buy a lot of stuff, but, you know, if I stay away from Patrick, I would have come home with hardly anything. But it really came out, some of the stuff that I got, I'm really happy with. But I wanted to show you one item I bought. I haven't done a restoration. I know you like to see something before and after. Let's do this project real quick. For today's project, we have this beautiful masonry chisel. It's a vintage one. I don't know who the make is. I know there's some writing on there, but you can see this is extensively rusted. It was left out. They're high carbon items, very strong, very hard. Let's soak it in vinegar and we'll be back. This is after 12 hours soaked in vinegar, wiped down a little bit, rinsed, and then put in a neutralizer. Now you can see here the condition it's in. What it is, it's a Stanley 210L long masonry chisel. You could see they were kind of a black from the factory, or, you know, just right out of the forge more or less. But you could see the pitting on these high carbon items when they're left outside. So we're going to have to use some, to get through that deep pitting, we're going to have to first start with the grinding disc. And then from there, we'll go to the flap disc. Whenever the pitting is this deep or extensive, you have to start with the grinding disc. If you try and just use a flap disc, you'll be there all day. Now, you know my favorite part. Remember what the Stanley chisel looked like before we started? And we're calling this project done. You know, like I said, you could go as far as you want with these projects, but this is as far as I can go. It was a couple hours in here. These bars, or crowbars, are some of the hardest projects to do. They really are. And you know, until you do one, I know my buddy Dylan did one. He's like, man, I ain't going to do one of these for a while. And I know exactly how you feel. But here we go. We have a Stanley. We were able to keep the lettering, most of it. And you can see here, we didn't take it to a mirror finish, except for the edge. I always like doing that, right? And it's funny because it always makes the edge look sharp, but meanwhile you can see it's a thick edge because this is a masonry chisel. But I use it for so many other things. I use it to get between pieces of wood or planks because it's got that thickness. It won't leave marks. And just nice, you know. And I did all a beveled each facet so that it's nice, not sharp in the hand. The back of this is beautiful, isn't it? That little cap on there. This and a soft blow hammer is all you need to do so much. You could do so much work with this and a soft blow hammer. So that one's in the can. $2. So in closing, special thanks if anybody came down to Jacktown just to say hello. And I'm so glad you did, because I know you had a good time. I never seen so many smiles in my life. You walk around there, everybody's grinning. Everybody's walking around there grinning like a bunch. It's fun. It's fun. Anyway, thanks so much for tuning in. Hope you have a great week. We'll see you again on Wednesday. Take care now. Bye-bye.